that was like my journey was like, I'm on this introverted self-study, read multiple hours a day. Like when I was really in it, I was reading a lot, like, 6, 7, 8, 10 hours a day kind of thing. And you come to the, you have a conviction and you ask, oh, this is a really big deal. Everyone around you is like completely has no idea what you're talking about. You sound crazy when you talk to anyone. And so I come to this conclusion on my own, but I don't have such deep conviction in my own conclusion because it's just me that read some stuff. All right. So I'm like, okay, there's one of two possibilities. Either this thing is really a big deal and I'm right, or I've just drank the Kool-Aid and I am in some cult and I'm crazy. Basically, I'm wrong. Going to Bitcoin events years later. So I think the first one I went to was 18 or 19. I don't know. It was a Bitcoin conference in San Francisco. It's the first big one. It wasn't big back then either. It was like, I don't know, maybe a couple thousand people. Like the most recent one's 35,000 people. But going there, meeting some of these guys and seeing really intelligent, really disagreeable, really entrepreneurial people all coming to the same very strong conclusion that Bitcoin is like the most significant innovation in our lives, probably for the next 500 years. That is what really got me deeply convicted. I was like, okay, these guys are too smart. They're from all over the place. No one here is friendly even, like very disagreeable, very willing to speak their own mind. So it's like and they've done studies on this now where they show Bitcoiners like their Myers-Briggs personality tests, and a lot of these guys end up being very disagreeable, which I am one of them. Sorry, that's not Myers-Briggs. That's the Ocean test. So openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism, whatever that framework is called. That's one of them. And then Myers-Briggs is another one. And most Bitcoiners, I think, are INTJ, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I'm an INTJ and I'm 1% agreeable. So I'm in a room of 100 people, I'm the most disagreeable guy there. And so I go into these rooms and it's a lot of people like that, right? A lot of these fucking nerdy, disagreeable guys, but they've all reached this extremely strong conclusion. We all fully agree that Bitcoin is like the thing. And I was like, that's a good data point. That's consilience, as we call it, right? If you can see a thing, it's 1 degree of real. If you can see it and touch it, it's another degree of real. If you can see it, touch it, feel it, smell it, then it's a whole nother degree of real. So to have all these different perspectives arriving at the same conclusion was a very powerful signal to me.
All the disagreeable people agree on one thing.
Yeah, that's what I think I tweeted something like that at one point. It's like Bitcoin is the ultimate agreement of disagreeable people.
I actually find that Myers-Briggs really interesting because it shows that the Bitcoin population is exact opposite to the actual population, the general population. Everything that is a lot in the general population is not really a lot in the Bitcoin population, and vice versa. I wonder a lot if this is because we are so early and an early innovation attracts a different kind of people, or if people actually Bitcoin actually changes people through the incentives, and that the early group of Bitcoiners actually are a window into a utopian Bitcoin world. Like, I don't know if you have takes on that, but like I wonder a lot about that, and I think we also touched on it in the previous podcast. How much this Bitcoin community is a window into a potential Bitcoin world.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit earlier. I don't necessarily think that Bitcoin is going to change people and create a civilization that resembles the current Bitcoin community. But I think going back to the incentives are going to change how those people behave. And they're going to be forced to adopt it over time. But I do think that the people who are in Bitcoin now are a unique group of individuals, adversarial thinkers, early adopters, willing to take risk, also a little bit more prone to question what's happening in the world around them. I think as we move forward in time, the rest of the herd is going to follow.
Yeah, that's the way. I mean, to adopt Bitcoin or develop a thesis that's favorable to it in a world where everyone's telling you it's bullshit, it's a scam, it's a pyramid scheme, you have to be that type of person. You have to be willing to stand in a room and be like, you're all wrong. Right? You're all wrong. There's a meme about this, like one guy standing in a crowd of 1,000 is like, you're all wrong. You have to have the balls of that guy to get into Bitcoin early. It's a prerequisite because the whole world is telling you you're wrong. That's why that's reflected in the asymmetric opportunity of the price upside, right? This thing, back then it was, I don't know, a couple $100 billion market cap, right? Not even $1 trillion yet. And it's competing to be, we're like, oh yeah, this is going to be like a $200 or $300 or $400 trillion asset at some point. People are like, yeah, okay, buddy. And you have to be like willing to say, yeah, I actually believe that. And now that the knowledge is a little bit more dispersed, obviously it's a $1.5–2 trillion asset. Still competing for the same market share.
The most effective way to buy Bitcoin is to DCA, dollar cost average, or ECA, euro cost average, into your Bitcoin position long term with the Relay app. It's the consistency of buying every day, every week, every month that compounds and really builds the position that you want to have in Bitcoin. And for that, I'm using Relay. Relay is Bitcoin only. They do not do any shit coins. They do not do any cryptos, any stocks, or anything else. This is a tool, an app, the biggest one in Europe, that is fully focused only and solely on Bitcoin. Relay is also self-custodial. So from the first second onwards, where you buy the Bitcoin on Relay, they are in your self-custodial control. They never have the keys to your Bitcoin. No freezing of your assets, no counterparty risk, no rug pulling whatsoever. And honestly, it's the simplest app that I've ever used in the whole Bitcoin ecosystem. Super easy to set up and super easy to buy your Bitcoin consistently. So set up your DCA and use code Robin to save fees and get cheaper Bitcoin. I want to tell you about something very special to me. It's called micro seed. If you hold your Bitcoin in self-custody, and you should, you know how critical it is to secure your seed phrase. You should not have them on paper. You should not have them on anything else than titanium. With micro seed, you can engrave your 12 or 24 word seed phrase, the entire seed phrase, onto a 1-inch small washer. Yes, just one washer. All 24 words on that one washer. You can hide that thing everywhere. And even better, you don't need to buy a new kit every time you have to get a new wallet. You can make unlimited backups because MicroSeed is not selling the washer. MicroSeed is selling the device that stamps the washer. So you get the full kit with the device, with the washers, with the hammer, with everything you need to get started today, and you can make with that unlimited amount of backups. Go now to microseed.io. Finally, we have BTC Prague back in 2026, and this year I'm not only speaking on a panel, but I'm actually going to present an interesting new angle, a perspective, a Bitcoin thesis at BTC Prague this year for the first time ever. I've never done that on any other conference, so this will be a fun one. If you listen to this show on a regular basis, I would love to meet you in Prague this year. It's very high signal, no noise, and Prague is just a freaking amazing city with awesome drinks and a lot of good food. Use code Robin to get 10% off, and if you buy with Bitcoin, you get an additional 5% off your ticket price. I'll see you there in Prague.
Do you actually see a difference in the people that are now coming into the Bitcoin space, especially the people that are seen in the Bitcoin space? Obviously, we don't know everyone that just like puts $1,000 into Bitcoin and on his exchange, but like the popular faces are also like mixing every like 2-3 years a little bit more, and there are new people coming in. There are still old people here, or like OGs here that are since longer here. Do you see a change in them already now compared to like 5-6 years ago? Because now
you don't have to be that disagreeable. Like there's already like a consensus between a bigger group of people.
We got the Grant Cardones coming in.
Yeah, we have the Grant Cardones
Yeah.
coming in, like even Saylor to a certain degree is like, and like having like more kind of mainstream people now coming into Bitcoin, and now you you can point to people that are famous and rich outside of Bitcoin that are now speaking very positively about Bitcoin.
I don't pay enough attention, honestly, to the Bitcoin space of who's coming in and who's not. Eric will tell you, he does way more social media Bitcoin stuff than I do. I just think that in general, I said this years ago too. It's like, sure, Bitcoin is infinitely complex. You can go down all these crazy rabbit holes and learn a million different things, but the thesis is very simple. Money printing bad, money you can't print good. And so I thought that idea in its simplicity would propagate quickly through people's minds. Like, not to say that everyone's going to get Bitcoin, all the way down the rabbit hole, but people are going to learn through pain that, hey, I can opt out of predatory monetary policy once and for all forever. Okay, that improves my survivability. I think I'll do that. They're probably going to learn through episodes, pandemics and hyperinflations and capital controls and all of these things. But the idea itself is actually quite simple. So I think it's going to be adopted by a more diverse group of people at an accelerating rate going forward.
Yeah, I think we had an influx of deep thinkers. And I could be wrong, and maybe I should be careful as I say this, but I can't think of any real deep thinkers that are like new to Bitcoin. There's this core group of OGs. And then now you have like the Grant Cardones and the Saylors. The Saylor's a very deep thinker in his ways. But I think there was an influx of that in the first 10 years, and that's kind of morphing. Now it's like a much more diverse, like you said, group of people.
Is there like an incentive to, at some point when you get Bitcoin, to kind of almost move on a little bit, especially like you have been down the rabbit hole so much, and then you kind of like say, as you also said, like, yeah, like fiat currencies, you print it, it's not good. Like I don't like to work for something that another man can just like print of a press of a button. So I just rather take the Bitcoin. And then you go really deep down the rabbit hole and you come to the same conclusion, like this is the main thing. And then you kind of, that's why we have food debates and health debates in Bitcoin. That's why we have all those other rabbit holes that have on the surface nothing to do with Bitcoin and money, but then have everything to do with it. And that's why I guess we have those other debates in Bitcoin, because we move on from Bitcoin itself.
I don't know. I mean, I find it to be like I'm still going into the rabbit hole, but the rabbit hole's bottomless. Like I'm been working on a book now, right? A lot of it has to do with the nature of language, words, mathematics, metaphor. These are things you would hear people say something about, and you wouldn't connect that to money. Like when I tell people, oh, I host the What is Money show. They're like, oh, it's a finance podcast. I'm like, actually, no, that's the one thing we never talk about. We've never talked about finance once on the show. All right, we talk about everything but that. And so I mean, I don't know everyone's experience. Like what I see from far away is people improving their lives. People, broadly speaking, is like, drinking less alcohol, starting families, getting in shape, starting businesses, reading more, communicating more, those things all seem to be good. For me, one of the places the Bitcoin rabbit hole has taken me is into the mimetic desire thesis of Rene Girard, which is like all human interaction is imitative. And so this idea of BTC, like be the change you wish to see in the world, that's where I'm at with it. It's like, I'm trying to really, the clarifying question for me is like, okay, I'm going to wake up today and do this set of things. And this is my plan for today. And here's my plan next week and the month and the year. In the back of my mind, I'm always trying to ask myself, okay, if my children were leading this life, would I be happy for them? Like, would I feel like this is good for them, right? Would I feel good as a parent if this is where they end up and what they're doing? And the other way you could frame that, if you don't want to think about it, maybe you don't want to have children or something, you could also think about, when you're on your deathbed and people are speaking about your life. It's like, well, what did you do? So it keeps that, I guess it's a matter of time preference. Like you're just trying to zoom out and take present action that really serves your larger time horizon, whatever that may be. So for me, it's like physical fitness has been a big one. I'm going hard as I've ever gone in that. I'm really working my ass off to write this book. I know it's taken a long time to do, but I've got a co-author working with me. I think we're going to write something very meaningful. I look forward to making that impact for people in the way that the podcast has. When people approach me and say, "Oh, this episode changed my life," or "This thing you wrote changed my life," like that feels really fulfilling. So I would like other people to do that too. So I'm trying to do that. Also creating other businesses and stuff in the Bitcoin space. Like these are all things where I'm trying to express the be the change mantra.
Is this your first book? Or no?
So this will be the first book. I was going to author it myself, but I now have a co-author. I did co-author Thank God for Bitcoin with 7 other authors. So my contribution was a little bit slim in that one. But this book will be pretty much the compilation of everything I've learned in the past 9 years in Bitcoin. So, but yeah, it's not a Bitcoin. I don't know. We'll see. It'll be out by the end of the year.
I'm excited for it.
I think it's going to be a banger. I read an outline 6 months ago. Very, very general breakdown of the flow. It's going to be good.
We're putting the proof of work into it. So we'll see what happens.
You mentioned language. What is the connection there to money?
Money is the language of value, or the language of action, or the language of power.
The first thing that every Bitcoiner does, and the most important activity that every Bitcoiner keeps on doing, is buying Bitcoin. And I personally use Relay to buy and sometimes also spend or sell my Bitcoin. And there are 2 main reasons why I do so. The first one is it's Bitcoin only. They do not do any shit coins. They do not do any cryptos, any stocks, or anything else. This is a tool, an app that is fully focused only and solely on Bitcoin. The second one is self-custody. They give you the keys to your Bitcoin the moment you buy them. You never give them the control over your Bitcoin, and you don't have to trust them because you can verify that you and only you have the keys to your Bitcoin. There's no third-party risk. There's no freezing of your assets. There's no rug pulling. There's nothing of that. Download Relay, the app, on your phone, or go to relay.app on your browser and use code Robin to save fees and get cheaper Bitcoin. I want to tell you about something very special to me. It's called micro-seed. If you hold your Bitcoin in self-custody, and you should, you know how critical it is to secure your seed phrase. You should not have them on paper. You should not have them on anything else than titanium. With micro-seed, you can engrave your 12 or 24 word seed phrase, the entire seed phrase, onto a 1-inch small washer. Yes, just one washer. All 24 words on that one washer. You can hide that thing everywhere. And even better, you don't need to buy a new kit every time you have to get a new wallet. You can make unlimited backups because microseed is not selling the washer. Microseed is selling the device that stamps the washer. So you get the full kit with the device, with the washers, with the hammer, with everything you need to get started today, and you can make with that unlimited amount of backups. Go now to microseed.io.